Let's go! Bum, 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 bum. Go and dance the Mario just like me. I did actually never watch that as a kid, but the Super Mario Brothers movie, I saw this Wednesday. I'm only getting to it now because I was busy yesterday, and now I have all the day. I'm feeling a little worn out, but I could definitely do a review for the Super Mario Brothers movie. And if you have been paying attention to the reviews, which some of us definitely do, this film has not been getting the best reviews. It's not been getting like god awful zero star Rotten Tomatoes reviews or anything like that. But if we're going by the percentages by the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, the Super Mario Brothers movie currently has a whopping 56%. That means a little over half the critics who go to see this movie like it. Now the audience score is much higher. The audience score is like in the 80s or 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Where is the audience score on this? Hold on. The audience score is 96%. So yeah. And look, I guess I'll start with what I wonder what where critics are coming from is. Let's take a quick look at a couple of these negative reviews. So I'm not going to name any names. I'm just going to read them off. So what seems to have forgotten is creating an engaging story. It's bland, uninteresting, and cobbled together. It's emotionally bland, yet garnish enough to psychologically sedate the preteen Easter audience. That sounds a little pompous of you. Kids may have the time of their lives watching a Super Mario Brothers movie, but for most adults, the game is over. I'll read like one other one. I found myself wanting more, as if I was only getting part of the experience. But the Super Mario Brothers movie is not intended to work in the same way that conventional films do. It's not about cinematic enjoyment. It's about expanding a brand. Give me 1 second here as I'm getting this, because I was thinking about this the whole time. So let me get this straight. So you guys wanted something wonderful, some wonderful cinematic experience. You were looking for a deeper story from Mario. Now, I'm not saying these types of films can't have a story. Look at Sonic. Sonic is not the Citizen Kane of stories, but it's a decent story for what it is. They give you some lore and backstory, all that. But not every film has to be like that. Look, Mario is what Mario is. It's like most of us kind of just know Mario's story. He's a plumber, and then he somehow got sent to the Mushroom Kingdom to save the day. And that's really all you needed to know. Not every story needs to be Citizen Kane. The people who gave this film, who gave the Minions: The Rise of Gru a 70%, apparently think their Minions: Rise of Gru had more story in there. And I'm like, no, it really didn't. Maybe it had a little bit more story, but I read a lot of these comments, especially about the whole lack of story. And if there is any negative I could say about it, it's like, yes, there isn't an in-depth story. Sure. But I'm not going in there for an in-depth story. Anyone going into this movie, I would assume, is going in there to see Mario and Luigi and Bowser and Peach. Toad, see the Mushroom Kingdom, get your references, enjoy the animation, have some fun characters. And that's exactly what the film is. What the hell is everyone getting on about? It's like, oh, there's no story here at all. It's like they're just trying to expand the brand. It's like, get on. What was the one that actually kind of annoyed me, though, how he put it? It's emotionally bland and garnish enough to psychologically sedate the preteen Easter audience. Get over yourself. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, and as a kids may have a fun time, but for most adults, the game is over. It's like, I'm sorry. Do realize Mario came out when the people who they're taking their kids to see this were also playing this as a kid? I'm not trying to explain why people didn't like it. That's not fair. But it really comes off like people were looking for something that was not going to be there, And the trailers didn't even imply it was going to be there. And then B, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds like people are a little high in their ego. Just a little bit from those comments. Like, wow. Anyway, I'm now 5 minutes in, barely talked about the movie apart from the fact I liked it. This is a very fun movie. This movie is exactly what you want to take your kids to. Fun, colorful. Trust me, the kids knew Mario. Trust me, the kids that were in my theater about 2:30 in the afternoon on a Wednesday were young enough that they weren't probably at school, but they knew Mario because they sometimes went shut up, and that their parent or guardian, whoever was with them, had to constantly say, like, shh, you need to be quiet. Trust me, the kids knew who Mario was, and believe me, we all grew up with Mario. Anyone in the age range of 30 to 50 probably knows Mario. Okay, so yeah, like Mario has been around. Which God. Think about that for a second. Oh man, where has the time gone? But yeah, we know Mario. We don't need, like, what is the origin of Mario? We don't need that. Look, you get the origin of Mario. He was a plumber. They dressed the same. That was it. You just want him trying to save the Mushroom Kingdom. That's all you get. And that's really all you need. You see the other kingdom. You see Bowser's Darkland Kingdom. You see the Jungle Kingdom where the Kongs live. You see Rainbow Road. So there's plenty of environments. The characters are all a lot of fun. The voice work is actually really good. Jack Black owns it as Bowser. He just owns it. They play Bowser as both this, admittedly, a bit of a simp for Peach, but also as a legitimately intimidating character. Like, he will bounce back from, like, at one point he's singing a ballad about how much he loves Princess Peach. And then at another point, he just crushes a minion's hands and just goes, can I take these out? No, pain is the greatest teacher. And it'll be the greatest winning ever, or we'll destroy the Mushroom Kingdom. Like, he plays it well. Like, he's the standout vocal performance. Charlie Day's good as Luigi, though. I really liked him. I honestly forgot who was Peach until I looked it up. It was Anya Taylor-Joy. Liked Peach. And obviously we got to talk about it because people were talking about it forever. Chris Pratt as Mario was completely fine. God almighty. Everyone is like, it's not my Mario. He doesn't sound like the Mario from the video games. Yeah, the Mario from there's a reference to that, by the way, that Mario's voice. But you really thought that voice, it's a me, let's go. No, for an hour and a half, no. And if you heard, and for all the people who were like complaining about that, they either don't like Mario's voice outside of the games or had never heard his voice outside of the games. Because his voice outside of the games was always more of like a Brooklyn Italian accent. And Chris Pratt's voice, maybe not like the best among them, but emulated that. But beyond that, the references when you are all over the place. The action sequences are fast, colorful, fun. The animation is gorgeous. This is one of the most beautiful Illumination films I have seen. Illumination has done a number of things. They've done the Minions, Despicable Me. What else did they do? Secret Life of Pets. They got another one coming out because I think it was advertised in their trailer. What's it? No, DreamWorks is doing that Teenage Kraken movie. What was the one that they... Migration. The one with the ducks. But look, even for the films that aren't the greatest, they always look really good. And this looked fantastic. Like I said, it might be one of the best visual looking Illumination films I've ever seen. I do like the soundtrack too. They do insert a couple regular songs, pop culture songs in there. I'm not going to say where in the movie they are, and they're not usually very long, but I Need a Hero is in there. Thunderstruck is in there, which Take On Me's in there, and a couple other ones. But really, it just comes down to it's just a fun time. You get engaged with these characters. You're invested in the action. They're colorful, quirky, intimidating on Bowser's case. The Easter eggs, the callbacks, the references to the game are all over the place, and they are wonderful. Besides the lack of story, is there anything that really hampers this film from being like a 10? I don't do scores anymore, but like a 10 out of 10. I can't think of much. I'm not saying this is a perfect movie. I'm sure if I really sat down and thought in depth about what I did not like about the movie, maybe one or two of the voices didn't quite work. From like Donkey Kong's dad, I'll admit, didn't hate it, but yeah. What was the actor who did Donkey Kong's dad? There it is. Oh yeah, Cranky Kong, Fred Armisen. I'll admit that one didn't work as great for me as maybe some of the other ones, but I didn't hate it or anything like that. I like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. I'll admit the fact that we saw Mario's family, but nothing really came from that, didn't mean a whole lot. And Luigi is surprisingly not in the film a lot. I would have liked a little bit more Luigi. Like there's he's supposed to, what was that thunder palm technique he knows, or thunderclap technique? There's a scene where they're going into a thunderstorm. I'm like, okay, this might be where he gets that ability. No. So, all right, whatever. And then, Luigi's Mansion, like reference because he's stuck in a mansion at one point. But nothing comes really of that. Although there's a great cutaway from that. Overall, I'd be struggling to really think of anything truly bad about the film. It's full of great, wonderful moments. It's bright, it's colorful, it's engaging. Kids know Mario, so they were gonna be like Mario, and like they trust me. The kids in my theater, they knew Mario, so yeah. I like the film. It's a good, entertaining film. And look, to each their own. If people don't like the film, that's up to them. But look, this is one of those moments where the audience clearly has a different perspective than the critics do, and maybe the critics need to kind of chill out on their opinions. That's not the right term. They need to get their heads out of their asses a little bit and what they're looking for in a film. Their expectations, that's what I think it really needs. They need to get their heads out of their asses and what their expectations on certain types of films are. The fact that they seem to be expecting a lot more from this film, Mario Brothers film, than what they were given, I don't know. It just seems like they were really hoping for the world and got a pebble. So, but I don't know. I also don't know. This is going to be interesting because I don't know what this film is going to have for an opening weekend, because it opened on Wednesday. It's already bringing in some really good numbers. But it's on a holiday weekend of Easter. Now, I predict this will be number one, and I fully predict it'll still be number one at the box office. I just don't know what the long-term box office is going to be for it. Let's see here, because now we got the actual weekend starting today. Because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday count for the whole weekend. I mean, with the Wednesday and the Thursday opening, it's going to have a $100 million plus opening weekend guaranteed. But taking those out of the equation, does it still have a $100 million opening weekend? Ooh, we got Easter, so people will both be free because I don't work Easter, but I mean I don't work Sundays anyway. But a lot of places won't be open. Movies will obviously be open because they're open every day of the week. And every day out of the year. I'm still going to go 100+ million on just the regular opening weekend. I think the Easter weekend is going to be a big draw in for families and crowds, especially after you get either the early or Easter dinner is usually celebrated late or early, sorry. So you'll have plenty of time after dinner to go see a movie, or do it prior and then have Easter dinner. Then you got the 2 leading days up. So I'm still pretty confident that we're going to see 100 million plus for the opening weekend on this film. But we'll wait and see what happens on Sunday. Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you folks for the next one. Have a good one.